Some of the others are also Korean films. There's a lot of great high-end, high-quality movies coming out of Korea right now, folks. Seriously, it's an amazing market to look at.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about. I want to do one for this one film. Quentin Tarantino is in it. Sukiyaki Western Django, I think it's called.
Something like that. I don't remember the exact name.
It is a fucking great movie. It's a Japanese movie with an all Japanese cast. None of them can speak English, and they're all speaking English.
Yeah, so they're basically saying all these lines, and they have no clue what they're saying.
No clue.
They have voice coaches or different people trained on telling them what to say, so they're trying to mimic it and trying to figure it out.
It is
and it's
so
pretty entertaining.
It is so fun. For American films, I pulled out this one that was done sometime around 2003 called Highwaymen. He found the ending a little bit weak. I thought it was really good.
The movie started off really strong. There was some really cool horror elements, and I thought, wow, this is a really good story. It's put together pretty well. And then towards the end, it just kind of...
Well, it's not supposed to exactly be a horror movie. It's...
Well, yeah, I know.
You remember Death Proof, right? Quentin Tarantino really had a thing for the stunt car movie genre. This movie is actually a lot like this before Death Proof was made. It was done 2003-ish, and it had actual car stunts and crashes. No CG that I can detect. I don't remember seeing any CG in this entire movie. Even though they set up some of the crashes, obviously, it's not like Mad Max where something just crashes and you get to see the aftermath of an actual crash without any setups at all. Mostly because sometimes that can be kind of boring if it's done wrong. As awesome as the original non-Nicolas Cage version of Gone in 60 Seconds is, as cool as it is to see real high-speed crashes and everything like that, I'm sorry, it can be kind of boring. So you do want to set some of that stuff up so that you can make sure the camera catches a really good shot of the crash. A helicopter shot of a high-speed crash is, well, that's what you would see on, like, Cops. America's Scariest High-Speed Chases, Those are only fun if someone actually builds a tank or steals a tank and starts going through buildings. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really work if you're trying to do this for a big movie. There's some fakery where they maybe had a clay pot so they could flip the car over, but the crash is still pretty real. There's no CG even for 2003. It was still a fun movie, and for me it was based more along those kind of things. It kind of had certain elements to Duel. Except the villain, instead of not seeing him, you did see him a bit more than you probably might have liked to have.
Yeah, I wish they didn't show the villain.
Well, my biggest problem with
much.
And we're going to get into this when we do the review, but the biggest problem I had with the villain was, okay, so he's missing an arm, he's missing legs and stuff like that, and yet he's repairing his own car and changing his oil and doing, we're pulling off bumpers and repairing it, and it's like, how? I have a hard enough time changing my own oil with 2 hands and both legs and an able body. I know people can adapt, but it's not like he has a mechanical hand. He had a rubber arm, and he's not doesn't even have feet. He has like peg legs that click into the gas pedals and brakes and stuff like that. Kind of hard to go ahead and do everything you totally need to do when you only have one hand that can work the jack and work it's not like you can hold something in place with your hand and then take the non-functioning, non-grabbing rubber arm and reach over and grab the wrench and be able to hold it while you're doing your work. It doesn't work like that. You do have some problems where they ask you not to think about it, and I found that I could on this one. I found that I could actually not think about it and still,
Well, the first half of the movie was really exciting. The second half was just kind of boring.
Well, it's because it got down to the confrontation, and I didn't really find it to be boring and dull. I actually It reminded
me. The payoff was just bad.
It reminded me of a lot of the stuff like I had said before, where it was like Duel. A lot of people would consider Duel to be a lousy payoff because at the end, all he does is jump out of his car and let the guy drive off a cliff. That's how he beats him. It just drives off the cliff. And the ending is a guy sitting there while the sun goes down, watching the truck basically sit there at the bottom of a gulch. A lot of people would say that payoff was bad, but the whole movie was just solidly good. And for me, it was a lot like that with Highwaymen. So we'll talk about that, and we'll actually show some of the clips of these movies when we go ahead and make these reviews. So. Hopefully everybody finds any of this shit really interesting. We've been rambling on here for more than an hour about everything. He's got a lot of editing to do.
I don't want to do too much editing with this.
We got to.
Well, I mean, there will be definitely a lot of cuts, but I want to kind of try to leave long segments if we can.
We can, but we're going to have to rearrange them because we're talking about stuff that we were going to talk about at the beginning, at the end, and that's going to have to be put together. And I think people are going to notice that by now the light coming from the window isn't coming from the window anymore.
Actually, what time is it?
It's late. It's like 8:30.
Holy crap!
So yeah, we've been rambling on probably for more than we've been rambling on for a while, and so we're actually gonna wrap this up now. Hopefully, you guys will find us interesting enough. I mean, we'll get better. We'll get better the further we go.
Editing, if we can figure out. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I'm picking up a Power Mac, and I'm picking up Final Cut Pro and Adobe After Effects, and I'm basically going to start working on editing certain pieces myself. So hopefully, as time goes on, we'll see more high quality in a lot of these films. We'll be able to do better. We probably might not cut down the amount of time that we just talk about shit, because I talk a lot. I do. It's terrible. But hopefully we'll have more material, and maybe we can even intersperse some of this stuff more and more with video clips and stuff like that. So if any of you guys are actually interested in what we're doing right here, and you actually do wind up hitting that subscribe button or whatever, hopefully we will actually have a better payoff than Highwaymen at the end. So yeah, we're gonna get going.
All right.
Where's the remote control?
See you later.
I'm stopping this, guys.